Hi, everybody, and welcome to the United States of a Movie Podcast. We're the movie podcast that makes every Monday a fun day as we get together and we talk movies. But we have a purpose here at the United States of a Movie. We're the podcast that's trying to find one movie to define each state in these United States. We've already done one trip around the states. We're currently on our second, and today we stop off in the state of Maine, where last time, correct me if I'm wrong, we picked the absolute animated banger, The Iron Giant, Vin Diesel's greatest movie of all time. So this time around, I gave my esteemed co-host the mission, as always, to select two movies, and boy, did I wish they didn't. At least for one of them. We'll get to that one. First of all, as always, let's welcome the fellas back. Ryan Sander, buddy, welcome back to the show.
I'm so glad to be here to talk about these movies that I probably haven't seen since I was the age I was when these came out, 93, 94. I was 10, 11. And they don't hold up as well as you would think.
Well, one of them is available for free on YouTube for a reason. This, for me, was the first time I've watched both of them, and we will be getting into that. But first of all, as well, currently sitting in the middle of his very own video store in Los Angeles, California, Will Hirsch, buddy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I'm so happy that Keith Carradine adopted me into his family. I've been shown around town, and there's an angry fisherman who keeps trying to kill me throughout the entire day.
But don't worry, he'll be the hero by the end of it. It'll all get wrapped up with a bow. The movie that we're currently talking about right now, well, Will, tell us about this movie.
This is Andre. This is 1993?
94. Yeah.
94. Kids movie. If you're around our age, you pretty much know this exclusively as one of the kid animal movies that was like in the video store. Yeah. And that was the last time you saw it. Nobody else besides us has watched this movie in like the last 25 years.
I hadn't even thought about this movie until last week when it popped up on the list.
Yeah, and we were all like, is this even available anywhere? And thank God somebody on YouTube is like, I must share this 480.
Did you look at the date on it? I think it was uploaded like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
they were
actually quite recent. Yeah, it was on like a nostalgia YouTube channel. Yes, I watched this movie the way it was supposed to be intended in 360p.
That's right.
On an HD television. Mostly it was like watching like a painting.
It's like Danny Boyle directed it.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's been talking about 28 Days Later because everyone's been watching it with the new release, and everyone's like, "Man, this movie was this made on like the very first Digicam?"
Yes, it was. They announced that they're doing like a 4K release. I'm like, of what?
How?
Like, what?
Yeah, it's not quite as egregious as when the 4K of Collateral came out, which I did buy, but like I watched it and I'm like, yeah, you can't get any more Ks out of this.
Yeah, it's just the one picture duplicated like 8 times.
Yeah.
Which still would.
I love Collateral, man.
But speaking of 28 everything later, I managed to find out in the wild 28 Days Later on Blu-ray, like at a used store, and not for an insane price either. Like they did not know what they had, and I picked it up. And
was that like super rare or something? Like
it's been out of print for like over 10 years. Like it's one of the it's like notoriously one of the hardest movies to find because it's been locked up in like rights issues, so they haven't reprinted it in a long time.
What is it just like upscaled or just
it's 1080p, but it's a rough 1080p. But the 4K that you mentioned, that's not even going to be available in the States. Like that's part of the licensing is they cannot release it here.
Interesting.
Weird.
Why?
I hate licensing stuff. It's the same way that you couldn't find True Lies on Blu-ray and you couldn't find The Abyss on Blu-ray, and until recently Dogma because of Weinstein and all this kind of shit. It's like stuff like this bonkers. And that is the level of movie we're talking about with Andre, a movie directed by George T. Miller, not George Miller, the famous director of Happy Feet. No, this is, I remember I've seen this movie poster. Like Willis said, I have seen this movie on a DVD box, on a VHS box, and this was definitely not the movie I'm expecting because it looks like it's got a kid with a backwards cap next to like a sea lion that's just wearing a hat and sunglasses and a thing. And I'm like, oh, it looks like this 90s movie about a seal. No, it's not a 90s movie. It's set in like whatever it was, like the
The
60s
60s, yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it is a very true story, and a lot of this movie was true, and like it was. I've used the word a few times on this show, and I like Ryan. You're always like, "Are you sure?" Like saccharin.
Yeah.
This one was.
Yeah.
This,
Oh, yeah.
this one was because both of you were like when we mentioned Andre, because we often try to pick the movies just before we start recording this episode. We'll pick the ones for the next episode, and the guys are like, "Oh yeah, Andre, okay, yeah, I remember that movie. Oh yeah, let's watch it."
I remember it was like one of those again that was just on cable like a ton as a kid, and
Yeah.
when you're that age, you just fucking watch everything. You don't give a shit, and it's just one. It's a completely innocuous film of that era. Like, child befriends animal, drama ensues, people try and hurt animal, and then blah blah blah, happy ending.
Right,
Like, Free Willy,
but
Flipper, like
yes,
Mhm.
but in
this
this
is a
case,
true story. It's
true
crazy.
story, which is like, and like a lot of the big things that happen in the movie are true. So the big
Yeah.
sort of sweeping, arcs of story left and right are all true. And then the cool thing is, right at the end of the movie, it actually cuts to like 16mm footage of the actual
Yeah.
seal and the actual people. And the thing is, though, it's a 1990s movie, but I was texting you guys, it feels like a 1960s TV show.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah.
like Leave It to Beaver. It feels kind of like the Brady Bunch from the 70s. It's just the way it's shot, the way it's acted. I almost felt like I was watching a pastiche of movies from back in the day. It just felt, it was so tonally inconsistent and weird that the whole movie, I was just like, at one point I was like, oh thank God, the movie must be done. Pause. Oh shit, there's 45 minutes left. How can there be 45 minutes left?
Yeah, there's strangely, for being based on a true story, very little story like in this movie. It is a very thin 90 minutes. Although like the biggest change from real life is obviously Andre was not a sea lion. He was a homeless drifter that they had just found, and I don't quite know why
Better
they went
movie.
this direction. Yeah, but
So, well, look, the movie tells the true story, like we said, of a family in Rockport, Maine. There's a dad who's like the harbor master. He's great with animals. The story's being told by the little daughter, who's played by the girl from Napoleon Dynamite
Right.
/
who's
Waterworld.
voiced by Lana Lane in the narration from Superman 3.
the best Superman.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, it tells a story about like basically, long story short, this you see the seal's mother get killed by a net for some reason.
It's the opening scene of Orca, basically. They catch
Yeah.
the seal.
Kill the mother. And this seal gets rescued, and they sort of like raise it. Now, weirdly enough, in the movie, the seal is played by a sea lion.
Right.
And they say the reason is because seals are notoriously hard to train. Well, this movie says fucking different, because a harbor master was able to train a seal in the 60s to become a celebrity. So how hard can seals be to train? That's my biggest question.
I think they tried it with the seal, but after the sixth one biting the child, they're like, you know what? Why don't we try a seal? Someone's like, I think we should try a sea lion.
The cultural appropriation of seals in
The
this
stolen
movie.
valor, yeah.
Oh, it's just outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. But yeah, I mean, like, so they live in this kind of nuclear family, and I wanted to slap the brother and sister, the older brother and
They were
sister,
terrible.
because they're just bickering, but in a way that just like, oh, shut up. Please,
Yeah.
please shut up.
And the family rescues all sorts of animals. I think it opens with her trying to marry a pigeon and a
And
chicken.
a chicken, yeah.
Yeah.
She's marrying a pigeon and chicken, then it turns
Who are
out
still
maybe...
happily married to this day. So
Well,
it's-
Yeah.
and it was pretty edgy because maybe they were same sex, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was like, it's already ahead of the curve.
they gracefully avoided that line of dialogue. Yeah.
Well, and then like, yeah, we see the little girl she takes a frog to school, and you got that ridiculous scene with the little girls who bully her, I guess. And had show and
they
tell, orange is my favorite color and blue is my best friend's favorite color, and you can't touch it.
Very like very Matilda. Like they're so needlessly mean.
Right.
Yeah.
But like without the, sort of psycho, sort of, what do you call it when you can move stuff with your mind? I've completely
Telekinesis.
Telekinesis. Yes, I would like some telekinesis to take it out on these bullies, but no. I mean, you always bring up like when a movie has the lowest possible stakes. And this movie its stakes couldn't be any lower.
It's like shocking to me that this wasn't a Disney movie because it feels so much like a Disney
Yeah.
made for TV film, you know?
Oh, it's a straight
Yeah.
to DVD kind of. That's the thing. That's the thing because like I know this movie could have been better. And like, I remember seeing like Free Willy, all right, or whatever, but just name a movie along those lines. I've seen them done better. And like,
Alligator 2.
right, but this movie
Yes.
like is telling a true story.
Yeah.
Of a true thing. You've got the archival footage, you've got the real thing behind it, but the execution was just absolute.
They
like,
really lean
so
on
hard
this.
to get through.
They really lean on the seal doing like raspberries over and over again. Like that's the only trick it can do. And I remember
God,
like immediately after this, I went back and watched the trailer because I remember that so much. It's just there's at least 6 different shots of the seal just going. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's what you think is funny, you're in luck because that is 95% of this movie.
Yeah.
Like they have like the other gag they do is sometimes Andre is angry and which by the way, an angry sea lion, the face it makes, I don't like that at all.
it just like hisses.
I would
yeah.
also club that animal. That's horrific.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to see that. But yeah, this is it's way more sappy. And it doesn't help that the parents, the actors, Keith Carradine, and then I forget who's the other
Yeah,
actor
what's
plays
the
the
mom's
mom.
name? Is it
She's
Chelsea
super hot, but I can't
Chelsea
remember.
Field.
I couldn't recognize her from any other like films from that era. I was like, she must have been in a ton of stuff.
Oh, yes, you do. I knew her. Oh, she's Teela from Masters
Yes.
of the Universe, the 1987
Oh, that's
canon
the one.
movie.
Yeah,
that's
that's the
where
one.
I knew her from. I knew
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Oh.
How could she get any hotter?
Oh wait, she was also. Oh, she was in Commando, but as like a flight attendant. But yes,
She played the daughter.
dude, he was Teela in Masters of the Universe, and
That's
yes,
it.
she was smoking hot in that movie,
Yeah.
especially for 7-year-old me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's like-
and current me.
Yeah.
Well, ironically, she was also in the 1996 movie Flipper, so she's clearly got a vibe.
Yeah. Typecast, yeah.
Yeah.
Did she play Flipper? Was that her?
yeah, that's exactly.
I don't remember that movie too well.
She used to be a solid gold dancer, and she was in Airwolf as well. Wow. Okay, she rocks. Good for you, Chelsea Field. But she was like, her acting was like, it's at times you felt like the dad and the mum were pausing for laughter from the studio audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It-
that kind of vibe.
It's not about them. It's about the relationship with what's her name and Andre. I can't remember her name.
Isn't it? It's Tony.
Yes,
yeah, that's
yes.
what it was. Yeah, Tony.
Because the mother had a weird name. It was like a normal name with an extra letter on the front
Yeah,
of it.
it's
like
Phallus.
Phallus. Yeah, like what?
that's nobody's name. That's that's invented
In the
for
book,
movie.
it's phallus, but
They cocked it up. Yeah, like no, so much of the movie is like, and it's like, we've got Joshua Jackson turns up as son of angry alcoholic who just
this guy fucking hates seals.
he's
Like,
like,
My God.
the whole thing is like the harbor master is they're affecting all the fish and stuff that they're bringing in, so this guy is effectively not making nearly enough money, so he has it out with the harbor master, and the guy's just got a raging fucking hard on for him for just he's just a because this movie needed a foil. It
Right.
needed a guy that really hated Andre, and it felt so fucking flat. Like the stakes couldn't be any lower.
and he's like he's angry, he's drunk. You're right. He just has to ruin this guy's life, so he reports him to the feds.
It's because his wife was killed by sea lions.
Yeah, you're right. That's the
part was
plot.
cut
We
out.
never
Yeah.
it got cut out. Yeah, it was the R-rated version. But yeah, he notifies the feds, and then you get the fish and wildlife guy, whatever it is, and he turns up and he's like, "Yeah,
You need a permit for this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Just like such a cliched sort of bad guy. And then like it's just I just keep seeing how the movie, if Disney had got a hold of it, how
It'd be animated or something.
give it a bit of a rewrite, get an actual director, put a score into it, and it would actually probably not suck. Because this movie, like, guys, this movie sucks.
I thought it was fine. Like,
it's
Ice cream?
like you
Have you
guys-
got ice cream, Will? Is there ice cream happening in
There's,
LA right now?
We're hitting that time of the day where 9 ice cream trucks are going to come by my place, and nobody's ever bought ice cream from any of them, so I don't know.
Are they just
what they
drug
do.
dealing? Is it just like, guys, cocaine?
God, sometimes
You almost said, I
would.
wish.
Yeah.
I wish they would. It would help get through some of these movies.
He would have disappeared into like a cloud of smoke, and his chair would have been spinning around.
Yeah. So enjoy the ice cream truck. I'm sure 20 others will come by in the next 10 minutes.
What if there was no ice cream truck and you're just hearing that music in your head? You're like, what are you talking about?
No, they hand out cocaine in pressed eggs like New York Ninja. They just throw it in people's faces.
Oh my god, then they'd be welcome.
That's how you get the rage virus.
Yeah.
Dude, I have still honestly, like, I know we're doing Maine, but my brain is still New York Ninja, guys. I have been thinking about that movie like since we watched it. I really, what a bonkers movie. But back to Andre.
Well, I was gonna say what Andre could have used is a radioactive sex pest, like
absolutely
just annihilating the town. That would have really helped.
Give me a radioactive sex pest, and
so you're saying if Jeffrey Jones played the father in this movie,
there we go.
It would have
problem
been
solved.
Like, all the problems, yeah.
You love making jokes about that guy. You love giving Rooney his due. So this movie it hits. I mean, I would say, like I said, it hits every cliche. But like I said, the thing that you can't fault the movie for is it's telling the actual story like pretty well. Like, so granted, we've got the bad evil like fisherman who wants to blow away he like at one point where it cuts to him and he's just there with an imaginary gun going.
Yeah, and the girl is like, this is because the girl is so obviously bullied at school. Andre becomes like her best friend. Like, right. She is like obsessed with this. So when the dad's like, I got bad news, we gotta let Andre go. She's like, this is like the rage she puts out and the hissy fits. It just feels just again very like made for television.
The brother and the sister, like I said, they're just cliche and they're bickering cliche, and then they get angry at the seal as well because they're not getting enough attention because dad loves the seal.
Yeah, right.
That was so like there was a certain point where it was like even in the rules of a kids movie, you're just kind of like, all right, like this is going a little far. Where the wife is even like, you don't see what's happening to this family because you're spending time with the seal. Like, how much looking after does a seal need? It's by the water. Like, what are we even talking about?
But it's raised in captivity. It's like never been, it was rescued as a pup. I mean, they did get a very cute seal pup or sea lion pup for the film. And I will commend the movie for using like being able to use an actual animal.
Right. Yeah.
Like to do all that shit. I'm like, that must have been a fucking nightmare to get it like to waddle around the classroom and not bite all those shitty kids. Like, come on.
Well, I think
as far as we know,
the original plan I think was to get Justin Long to like get him in the seal pup outfit,
like Tusk.
Yeah, and just have him walk around pretend to be Andre.
Have you guys ever seen that movie Tusk?
No. Yes. What are you talking about? I'm immediately looking this up.
I was at a friend's house when we were talking about movies. And anytime someone's like, I talk about movies, they're like, oh my God, I've got the perfect movie for you. And they were talking about Tusk. And I'm like, I know what this is about. I have no desire to see that movie. But I was at their house and they put it on for me. And I just kind of had to sit there. I'm like, fucking hell. It's so shitty. It's so fucking shitty. And I just sat there and watched the whole thing. I'm like, this is the kind of movie you think I like? I get that I'm wearing a fucking Terrifier shirt. I
was about to say, says the guy that showed us Terrifier.
Well, I mean, film. It's a film. That was just a shitty movie with Justin Long.
Well, it's actually written and directed by Kevin Smith.
The master of horror.
Right, yeah.
Oh my God, it's got Michael Buck's, Justin Long, Haley Joel Osment, Lily Rose Depp, and Johnny Depp. Okay.
Barely,
I do like that the top, like, after the two listings of Wikipedia and IMDb, the top thing on Google when you look up this movie is a Reddit thread that just says, Tusk, 2014. What the absolute fuck did I just watch? Ryan, was this written by you? Oh, it is written. It's written by Ryan. Okay, there we go.
Shit. Okay. It's not even a burner account. That's just my primary. Yeah.
It just says the United States in a movie.
Yeah.
So,
what the fuck were we talking about?
We're talking about fucking Andre is what we're talking about. Like I wouldn't even show my children this movie. I just don't think they'd get anything out of it. It's like.
Well, they're too old now, I would think.
You would hope.
Fine. Yeah, sure. Let's go watch The Substance, guys.
Well, they would only watch Andre in like 60-second increments on TikTok.
Yeah, no, that's...
And it's just the clips of him doing the raspberries over and over again. Set to some whatever weird fucking music.
Can't get enough of that.
But like considering what, Will said about this, movie being pretty light on plot, so much had happened in the first 45 minutes that I was convinced we had definitely done a 90-minute movie. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just little scene, little scene, little scene, little scene. But it's just, I will give it like credit. Not a single part of it is shot in Maine, but it does look good. Both of these movies, they use a lot of like the actual, it looks that's outside. Granted, the good sun is Massachusetts, and this one is like, was it Minneapolis and Canada or something like that?
No,
it's like,
the good sun I think was in Minneapolis, and I think you're flipping those. But it doesn't matter. Like, you're right. Like none of it was shot in Maine, but it did feel Maine-adjacent.
Yeah, and honestly, in the first 5 minutes of this movie, I was like, oh, this one's gonna win. I didn't think that 6 minutes into the movie, but like 5 minutes into the movie, I was like, because it's got that whole fishing village vibe. It's got that whole sort of like small sort of like, community on the water. It does get into this whole thing. And like, it is at the same time, like I said, I would honestly say that you should fucking burn this movie or firebomb the people like that did it if it wasn't based off a true story. Like that whole last bit during the credits where they start showing the real footage is where you go, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
We
bring up the fucking RoboCop statue all the time. They actually have an Andre statue. In this town.
Do they really?
And he's wearing the RoboCop helmet, so it's the best of both worlds.
And he's wearing the Rocky gloves, and he's doing the Rocky pose as well. Is that the whole thing?
While doing the raspberry.
So the sea lion lived to be 24 years old or something like that. Like
impressive.
He went into captivity, but then they released him, and then every year he'd come back. It's a cool story.
One of the things, like the actual true story is far more interesting than this film.
Way more.
Like even like I went and watched, I think I sent it to you guys. There's like a 6-minute like news report where they go to the town, they bring in Andre, and he hops into the car. I'm like, holy fucking shit, this is like very real. Like it's cool.
Yeah, I'd almost say read the book A Seal Called Andre, which is written by the guy Henry Goodrich.
It's the sequel to A Fish Called Wanda.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can we do a London version so we can do A Fish Called Wanda? I love that movie. But yeah, I'd almost say, look up the footage of the real footage. Yeah. Look up the real story and read the book. The thing is, like, even the young girl, Tina Majorino, who plays Tony, she's great in Waterworld, and I love her in
Napoleon Dynamite.
In Napoleon Dynamite, maybe do this, and she just was like, I don't know, this guy.
She was a bit more annoying in this. You can kind of see why the girls were bullying her. But I side with them. I'm not saying that, but you're kind of like, I probably would too. It was the 60s.
Yeah, and
I gotta buy that fucking squirt ring though.
That was pretty cool.
I was gonna say
I did like the square ring, but like, I mean, like for you fellas, so for me, I mean, like we've had movies that, like, say for example, Ryan and I have brought to the table because we watched it as a kid and we were invested, and Will's watched it and gone, I don't know, it didn't hit. So both of you having watched it younger, me coming in at 44 watching this movie, I'm like, okay. Yeah. For you guys, like revisiting, was there any of that nostalgia for you?
I mean, there's a reason I haven't watched this in 20 plus, 25, 30 years. But I like, there's a bit of charm to it that I still like. I don't hate this movie. It's like I'm still fond of the memories I had when I was watching it as a kid. So I still enjoyed it. I agree with everything you're saying. Like maybe go out of your way to not watch this movie, but
yeah, it doesn't go on my list of things to recommend. What about you, Will?
The 4K.
Will's got the Steelbook. He's got the Criterion Collection.
I've got the novelization of the movie based off the book. This is I'm kind of with Ryan. I don't hate this movie, but this definitely falls into that. It's nostalgic in the sense of when I think of it, I think of video stores, because that is like exclusively where this movie lived for me. But it doesn't hold up. It's a little bit, it's things like who's the bar owner in that movie? He's got all the like the corniest, worst jokes you've ever heard in your life, and
he's like a Sopranos character.
Oh God, man! I wish Ralphie had killed him.
Who was that? Didn't say it.
That would be great. Yeah, so this isn't. I'm not going to be recommending this
It's
anytime soon.
it's a movie you would see the trailer for when you would rent a different movie on
Exactly. Yeah.
VHS. Like it would
Like,
just be tacked on at the beginning of that, and you're like, huh, a seal, you say.
yeah.
Does he
When
also
you,
play basketball? He fucking does.
Yeah, he does.
It's amazing.
Yeah, when
He's
you
like
rent-
Air Bud, but a seal.
It again, like it's just
Yeah.
that was that time where like they were just making all of these. It's the exact same movie. This one just happened to be true, and from like, you're like that was it. It's just this was a true story.
if it's not a chimpanzee playing baseball with Matt LeBlanc,
Yeah.
you know, it's like it's
Yeah.
just put a dog and a cat in a situation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that Airborne didn't have like, you know, some sort of like rollerblading animal involved. By the way, how long until we get to watch Airborne again? It's been great, but like,
I think
oh,
it's
yeah.
2 or 3 weeks.
okay, I'm so close. Can't wait. We had such a good time watching that.
Yeah.
yeah, this is a movie you would rent Dunstan checks in 5 times before you get to this movie. Like
That was the other one. Yeah.
it's that kind of movie. But I mean, that being said, it was free on YouTube. I can't say I lost out a whole lot on watching it.
Yeah.
You know, it's didn't take too much
It's like
out of it.
our Criterion closet.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
it actually felt like so on our text thread that we have, Ryan was actually getting into like maybe this is a whole new podcast, and he was just sending us all the movies that you can find for free on YouTube, which is like I do love it. Like example, like so I couldn't tell because this movie was 360. Is a lot of it just terribly recorded in ADR, or was it just
I think it was the quality of the upload.
you know I just couldn't
Yeah.
tell. You know, because I couldn't
This had
actually
a
make out
theatrical
faces.
release. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, the video footage was so bad because I texted you guys, hey, that's the guy who plays General Martok from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It was actually like the footage was so bad that I had gotten him mixed up with another actor.
And
He
Another
is
Star
from
Trek
Star
character.
Trek. No, he is from Star Trek. He's definitely been in episodes of Star Trek, but he's not General Martok. But,
Go on.
But
I
for those
mean,
of you,
like-
by the way, at home that aren't watching the video and listening to the podcast, Ryan rolled his eyes with such disdain at even the mention of Star
He
Trek.
said he was going to mention that Star Trek shit in the text thread, and I completely forgot about it. And he went ahead and did it.
He's only rolling his eyes because he hasn't watched the episodes yet today, and so he's behind.
Yeah, it
so
was
he's
season
just-
35, episode in.
Hey,
season 35. How dare you?
we did get him to watch Star Trek 2, and he did like it. So you know what?
I
You
did.
know,
Yeah.
That is
there's-
true.
Slowly but surely, we're gonna get him on Star Trek. Yeah, this
Can't-
movie.
Can't
sucked.
wait till we go back to California and we watch Star Trek 4. It's gonna be great.
Oh my god, Ryan, you're gonna love Star Trek 4. It is.
That's
so
the one with
good.
the whales, right?
It's
Hell
the
yeah, it
one
is.
with the whales in San Francisco and the nuclear vessel.
Which one did we
Really
watch? 2?
good. Yeah, 2.
2.
So I can
We will
can
skip 3, but you know,
I mean,
you
we
don't
had
need
to-
it for 4.
It's part of the trilogy. The thing is, 2, 3, and 4 are a trilogy.
To be
3 is really good.
continued.
Yeah, Andre, like, it is what it is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of Maine-y. You know, and honestly, something that's really going to count for it is that it's a legendary Maine seal, and like Ryan says, it's got a RoboCop statue. So I mean, it might be a shit movie, but it's a contender when it comes
Yeah.
to Maine. Though we do have another contender. This was a movie when I mentioned it. It's a movie that Mrs. had told me about. Now, interesting enough, this movie wasn't released in the UK because of a very famous child murder that happened. It's
Go on.
Elijah Wood
honestly-
killed somebody?
no, it's actually like it's one of the worst stories that ever happened in the UK. It's Jamie Bulger's murder. These two boys, tween boys, took a little kid from a mall and just murdered him in a terrible, terrible way. And because of that murder, they never released this movie. So this movie came out. There was Home Alone. Macaulay Culkin's huge. They even pushed this movie for years so he could do Home Alone 2. Macaulay Culkin's dad really pushed for him to be cast in this movie. And so, you know, so this movie is like, Americans go, oh, The Good Son. And like, well, that's why I was like, I've never heard of this movie. And so it's like, you've never heard of this movie? It's like Elijah Wood, like Macaulay Culkin. He's like, it's an R-rated movie. I'm like, nope, never heard of it.
Is it an R rated? I
It
mean, I
is
guess it
R-rated.
does drop an F bomb, but it didn't feel. I mean, I guess R rated in that time. No, it
Well,
would be even worse. It didn't
I was
feel R rated.
I was looking into this, right? Because I was surprised too. I assumed it was PG-13 because it's really not that bad. But the MPAA were like, Macaulay Culkin is so big right now and kids love him.
Gotcha,
If
yeah.
we do it PG-13, kids are going to watch this with their parents. And we're like, we don't, you know, it's like even the British, when they did release it in DVD, or VHS or whatever, they actually cut the bit where they drop the mannequin.
The doll, yeah. That was still completely like fucked up.
That
Yeah,
was
that I had
was-
forgotten about that.
I was amazed.
Was
at
it
how
Mr.
many
Highway?
crashes. Yeah.
Mr. Highway, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's back up. So let's move over. We're going to talk about The Good Son. So The Good Son came out. What was I just saying? It came out
93.
93, right? Basically around the same time. And it kind of tells the story. It starts weird and it has really weird bookends, this movie, of just Elijah Wood standing in like Zion National Park or something like that.
Yeah. In the most southwestern, like the most southwestern looking fucking house you've ever seen.
And it's great because they start driving in the Jeep that's just completely open, and by the time they get to Maine, it's fucking snow everywhere, and it's like, what are we doing? But anyway, it tells the story. Elijah Wood. So this is the other thing. Elijah Wood is the protagonist of this movie, but you would be forgiven for thinking it's Macaulay Culkin because his name comes up first and he's on all the posters. Because
I think originally it was supposed to be flipped, and he
it's
wanted,
just
like,
that Macaulay Culkin is the most famous kid in the world because Home Alone is the greatest movie ever. And this movie works great if you think of it as a direct sequel to both Home Alone movies. That a sociopathic murdering child, gets, to this kind of point. Maybe adopted because he kept getting left behind by his other family, and now he doesn't like anybody. But basically, Elijah Wood's mom dies. And his dad...
Does she, though?
Right. We'll get to that. And his dad, David Morse... Right after the death, he's like, I have to go to Japan to close this deal. He doesn't want to, but his brother, Elijah Wood's uncle, is like, look, let him to come stay with us for 2 weeks. Go and close this deal you need to close to take care of your kid, and everything will be fine.
The 90s thing is like, you need to close this one deal and you'll be set for life. They never say what the deal is. They never say what he does, but he's got to go to Tokyo.
But that's where all the money was in the 80s and 90s. Tokyo.
But... Yeah. For what? Like,
they were inventing Sony. That's the way. Nobody's saying.
He was going to get the American franchise for selling used panties in vending machines. Mate,
we could have had that here.
This is the thing. Like, so Mrs. modeled for many, many years, and she's telling this story. This is like, I mean, I've known her for 28 years, so this has got to be nearly 30 years ago, and she's in Tokyo, and she's staying in Tokyo, and she goes, yeah, the weirdest thing was like, what, the vending machines? I go, what? She goes, the used schoolgirl panties vending machines. What? Yeah, they were everywhere. I was like, you got to give Japan. They are fucking.
Well, I don't know if they're everywhere. I mean, it's.
Well, didn't you just
some
get
people
back
were
from
looking
Japan?
for them.
Launching
his new company.
You just got the Godzilla panties, and you do the bit in Dave.
Worth
a hammock.
every penny.
Yeah.
But the good son is that when Elijah Wood goes to stay with Macaulay Culkin, Macaulay Culkin's younger sister, and Macaulay Culkin's younger brother, who was murdered, basically, instantly, Macaulay Culkin is a psychopath. He's a sociopathic, absolute fucking nutcase. It becomes pretty clear that he murdered his younger brother. He almost kills a cat I love the way he goes, yeah, but the sight's not quite right. He murders a dog.
He's such a convincing psychopath in this that the only problem I really had with, I mean, there's movies got a lot of sociopath, sure, whatever. Only
whatever, you psycho.
Only a psychopath would say that. Like you brought it up, and I remember when I was watching it, like the tone of the score, because this is essentially like an adult thriller, but with two child leads.
Yep.
And like every beat, everything like you would normally see in a similar thriller like this is just amplified. Yeah, but the music, it feels too dark at times, but too whimsical. It felt a little off.
It's like, we're off on an adventure, guys. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like the Goonies.
Yeah, it's almost like they had leftover score from Page Master, and they were like, "Where can we put this?" Like Macaulay Culkin's like, "I got the project for you."
He lights the cigarette, like, I got it.
Yeah.
But it was great. Like as a kid, like hit probably around I was 11
93.
I was 10 when this came out. Like getting to see this movie like sneakily on cable, maybe years later. I definitely didn't see this in the theater, but like seeing him just do that turn, even like when you first meet him, he's got that like
the creepy
mask. Yeah, you're like, fucking hell, it's still creepy.
Yeah,
when he smokes the cigarette or like, and when he says, "Don't fuck with me, Mark," like that's still fucking great.
Yeah,
I will say, I mean, I've always thought Macaulay Culkin was great. I would love a Culkinisance. I'd love him to come back and do some great movie. I'd love him to do just something. I mean, I'm sure he made enough money as a kid
He's married to Brenda Song. He doesn't got to do a fucking thing.
Yeah, he is set. And we got Fuller is now the big star. So, what's
it's got Connie Culkin in this. Is the girl who plays his sister, who looks exactly fucking like him.
Yeah, I forgot that it was his actual sister.
They were going to get Kieran Culkin to play the brother, but he drowned. They drowned him in the thing. So fucking psychotic. Yeah, and another thing I misremember because I hadn't seen it in so long. I for some reason thought that both Elijah Wood's parents were killed in the beginning of this, and he's sent to his aunt and uncle's, but it's just for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's just for 2 weeks. But I will say, I think Macaulay Culkin. I mean, I personally, I think Home Alone is one of my favorite fucking movies ever made. I think it is I miss his. She was so resistant to it. I was trying to show the kids for Christmas. This is years and years and years ago. I finally watched it, and my son loved it. My daughter loved it. It's just for me. I'm like, no, it is Christmas. It is.
Your wife just hates Christmas.
Yeah, right. It is Die Hard for kids, but Macaulay Culkin has such great. He's great. Yeah. He's got great little instincts as an actor when he was a kid, and in this one is he was good.
Yeah.
He was believable psycho. He in those moments and in those turns and in those threatening sort of moments, as you don't really think I hurt my sister, do you? You don't really think I'll hurt my mother.
It's so
believe
it really is sociopathic, just monotone delivery, just manipulative.
Yeah.
Again, this movie does every single beat that a thriller would do, where Macaulay Culkin's character is now convincing his parents that Mark is the psycho because his mom died and this and that. But all the dialogue he has with him is just so fucking behind dead eyes. He's like,
yeah.
Did you see your mom when she died?
Was she cold? The cold skin? Yeah, where lips blue.
Dude, this is the first time we're meeting each other.
You good there, buddy? And and it was also kind of because the other thing is, I think, is Elijah Wood is perfect casting as well, because you've got that just sort of he's innocent. Fantastic, and he's got his baby blues, and you just see him as little Frodo, just a teeny tiny little Frodo. But those two, I mean, you've got two tip top actors as kids, that just it really worked because you believe Elijah Wood as well. And what was interesting to me is that I really enjoyed is the very first thing we get from Macaulay Culkin is him just being a dick and kicking him under the table.
Kick him under the table, yeah.
Right.
Again, they just met. They're cousins. They've never met before.
But this is the 90s, and what is Elijah Wood kicks him back, and the guys are cracking up. They are kind of just roughhousing.
It does slowly ramp up to crazy.
Because then it's oh, cool, you've built a fucking weapon from scratch. You built a crossbow that fires bolts.
I think you get the treehouse before that, right?
Yeah. Oh my god, the most
treacherous. I even watched that. I'm like, it's way too fucking high.
Yeah, and I'm like, how are they shooting those children? And they are not digitally removing. How are they? They must have been
wires,
because
I don't know.
They have to be wires. But I was worried
when it pulls up to reveal his sister on the ground. You're like,
yes!
Dude, that's really fucking high.
Really fucking high. And I'm like, no goddamn way. I wouldn't even do that now. I hate I hate heights. I hate things like that.
You haven't even thought of the splinters, you bitch.
Yeah. And they get up to the ricketiest treehouse I've ever seen in the history of treehouses.
4 2x4s.
Oh!
It convinced me that the dad must also be a psycho killer. Yes. Because I'm like, why would he build this? I mean,
parents hate
they didn't even
children.
have AI back then. So how did they design this? That doesn't make any sense.
They clearly
don't
hate
worry,
their children.
He'll keep all of his cool stuff in the fucking weird shed that.
This is what I was about to bring up. Is these parents are so 80s parents.
Yeah.
There's one, they go, she feeds the kids and she goes, see you guys at lunch.
Yeah.
So they just fuck off around town.
They run straight into the woods.
Yeah, just bye. I'm going to try and almost murder a cat. We're definitely going to murder a dog. We'll dump the body, don't worry. And then we're going to cause a mass pileup, but everything will be fine. We'll see you at lunch, bye. But also, it's what else is nearby? There's not only the treehouse of fucking murder, but then mom goes to hang out on the base jumping, number one base jumping space of Maine. Oh yeah, that's just let your kids run.
They go to the abandoned factory to not even abandoned to throw things. It's just
and that was
shit a bad kid would do.
Right, but you're you're talking about tonal inconsistencies. That was the one that really stuck out for me. Is that the kids are let's smash glass, and then it's got happy music playing, and it's them in slow motion, and they're kind of And they're like, oh, look at the little vandals, smashing shit. Fucking adorable.
It did look kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, what was
I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go do that after this podcast.
What is Macaulay Culkin's character doing like in all this time before Elijah Wood shows up? Because he's obviously like completely fucked. Like,
yeah.
Is he in school? Like, how are his parents so oblivious that he does all these horrific things, or does he? Like,
well,
it's like he waited his whole life for Elijah Wood to show up. He's like, oh my god, finally I can show you all my cool shit, my fucking gun, the dummy that I built, like, my cigarettes, all of it.
They never checked the murder shed. It's like that's a big plot point in the movie that 2/3 of the way through, Mum finally goes to check the shed, and she's like, wait a minute. There's an effigy that's been hung by a noose over here. There's weapons over here. Oh, look, it's the toy from my murdered child.
Right. Well, I forget if it's the timeline where Elijah Wood's character goes to the mom to say like, no, I forget what's Macaulay Culkin's character's name.
Henry.
He's like, Henry's the bad one. He tried to hurt his sister and do all this shit, and then she fucking smacks the shit out of him, and she's like, I'm sorry, hug. And I think that's when she goes to investigate, like, maybe she's right. Yeah. Maybe my son did drown my other son.
Yeah, well, that point, like, for me, it's like, okay, she's trapped in grief, and she's trapped in...
I love the husband at the dinner. He's like, we got to let it go. Like,
come on.
Typical 80s husband is like,
right.
Get past it. Like,
we have more kids. Come on.
We have 3. Jeez, come on, guys.
We can keep fucking.
Yeah, one less mouth to feed. But no, I know what you mean. Is that it's in having Elijah. I mean, I guess you could have kind of explained it as a little bit of like the sibling rivalry kind of vibe, or like
But then we also talk about this in like other movies like this where you never even see the parents, and it just focuses on the kids, kind of like the Goonies a little bit. So I get that there. Yeah, exactly. So you just don't really see them as being involved. I mean, you get the one bit of the dad on the computer is like, I'm working here. Like,
yeah, the dad had weird blonde hair.
What did he was the guy from The Thing, whose chest opened up. That's
really,
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I noticed that like right away, and having not seen this movie in so long, I was like, oh my god, I forgot the dad was from The Thing. But what did the dad do? What was his job?
Tables. I don't know.
Tables.
Just something with computers. I don't know.
I never picked that one up.
It doesn't matter. But they had like this incredible house, like right overlooking.
Oh, banging house!
Like, every 90s parent in the movie had like worked a part-time job at Walgreens and could afford a 6-story house.
Right, where they go out to the one night where they go out to dinner together, and it's the shot of the car going by. It's like when Henry kills the power.
Yeah,
like you see how far away they're like, fuck, that's crazy.
It's cool. I mean, like, and definitely the mum doesn't do anything because she spends 3 hours a day just standing in a black robe on a cliff contemplating suicide.
Or she's walking around the house in the middle of the night in her white robe.
Yeah, right.
Maybe she's a ghost.
We have different robes for different occasions.
Right,
Come
on. This, though, being she was the first lady from Get Off My Plane from Air Force One.
Oh, Air Force One. Yeah.
I knew I recognized her. The short hair was distracting. And I did get very distracted by her ear. Like, the very first time we're introduced to her right ear seemed so big. And then I spent the next 5 minutes thinking about her ear.
It's like Val Kilmer's elbow and Heat.
Yes, as soon as you see the elbow, you're like, son of a, what the hell did you do?
It's a fucking baseball, man. What happened there? Yeah.
Why are you wearing a t-shirt, bro? I love that. I was looking up the, because we often talk about like movie studios, honestly, not knowing what the fuck they're doing. A perfect example being, I mean, I was just reading about the guy that got paid $55 million to tell Warner Brothers to unify, and then he got paid $36 million to change HBO Max to HBO to just Max, and now he just got paid another $40 million to tell them that they need to unify and change. It's they don't know what the hell they're doing. But this is my favorite sentence that I was reading. Like, I got into the background and reading about how this movie got made. Following the success of Home Alone and The Silence of the Lambs, which demonstrated the box office appeal of a movie about kids and an extreme thriller respectively, Fox decided to revisit the project as they now saw it viable. They were like, guys, The Silence of the Lambs worked, right? And Home Alone worked. What about if we put them together. And they were like, change, 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 change,
Yeah.
change, change. Do it.
It's
Make
in the movie. Yeah, yeah.
This would be like today if they were like, okay, we know Minecraft works. We know Long Legs works. What if we put Jack Black?
Hind legs.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
guys.
it does feel like they just kind of put all of these names in like a bingo ball and just kind
Right.
of shuffled
This is
it.
what I mean. Like I said, so many studios, it's just people trying to justify their
But
jobs.
I still like this movie, and I remember the key parts of it more so than the entire film, right? Like I remember them throwing the dummy off the bridge because I also remember them doing that in like a CKY skate video many years later. I'm like, fuck, this is the most psychotic thing you can ever do. It's
Right.
horrific. And like the doll, like I for some reason thought the doll landed on a car. It just smashes on the floor and RV flips over and
Straight flips over.
35 cars on this
Yeah.
innocuously like busy street or overpass. Like,
Mhm.
where the fuck are they?
Dude, like it's a
Where did they-
$28 million budget. $20 million was all the cars that they killed. Like there was a lot of accidents.
It was a Blues Brothers amount of cars.
They drew
Yeah.
that shit at crash, 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 close up, crash, crash.
And
skid,
where they
crash,
put
crash.
the cameras, like you could tell they were
Yeah.
using the same shot, but it's still cool to see that.
Oh, no,
That-
dude.
and I remember the dog chasing them. They got the mangiest looking dog.
Yeah.
And then shoots with a fucking bolt gun.
Yeah,
Oh.
and then dump the body. I do love that he just like
Yeah.
he throws everything down the well as well, which was just like it's like I quite enjoyed this movie for being fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Right.
I think the two leads were doing great. And I loved how it ended up. I loved like it's the Sophie's Choice. Of,
Yeah.
like it's just like as
it's-
far as waste and the thing is the more I looked into this guys because like so I'm watching it, you Ryan said the same thing I'm thinking. It's basically the ending of Mission Impossible Fallout. You know, just slightly different without the helicopter. But you know, I was like, again, how are they doing this? And I looked it up.
Yeah.
Oh no, 6-7 weeks of training with these kids. They were hanging 180 feet off a cliff, and to get that shot of Macaulay Culkin dropping, he did a 30-foot drop from 180 feet high.
That's nuts.
And he's like,
Wow.
I'll do it. Like the thing is, every time you read it, Macaulay Culkin's dad is like, he'll do it. But Macaulay Culkin was like, I'll do it.
I got like 6 more of these fuckers.
Yeah, well, exactly. I got a whole bunch of Culkins. it's basically the plot of the movie. But no, he said, I'll do it for a BB gun. So he got a BB gun as a result. But no, they spent 6 weeks training so the boys could act like convincing.
It was harrowing. Like
It looked it. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. So yes, they did build a fake one for some close-ups, but there were these moments that I'm just like, what on earth is happening right now? Like in the 90s, you know, there weren't laws for this kind of stuff. This is like, but yeah, they had a crane, they had wires.
the ridiculous thing where he pushes his mother off of the fucking
Yeah.
cliff, and she
Yeah.
of course falls. I mean, it's a very craggly cliff, and she's holding onto the thing, but then she just free solos the fuck right back up there.
She Tom Cruises up that shit.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean is like I enjoyed this movie. I would like I say this movie's
Like,
weird.
this-
like it's again totally inconsistent.
Now that I'm watching this like as an adult, that's probably the age of his parents in this movie. Kill myself. Like, how do you market a movie like this, right? Because you can't go
Exactly.
even darker because it stars 2 child leads, but it still has a lot of the same tonal stuff from a movie like Fear or just one of those like 90s thrillers that
Yeah.
you would see. But so who is this movie for?
And
Is
that's
it for like you're not going to be a parent taking your kids to go see this fucked up movie because it is fucked up.
Yeah.
right, but that's so going back to what I was saying earlier about like the director really fought to get a PG-13 and the MPAA going no because Macaulay Culkin. And so it's like it's the problem I think comes from they were trying to make both. And they
Yeah,
didn't,
it
they
felt
didn't-
like that,
and they
too.
didn't commit to either.
Mhm.
You know, if you're gonna make the R-rated one, because you watch it, it doesn't feel R-rated. It's not even jarring when Macaulay Culkin says "fuck." You know, you don't actually show anything. We don't show him drowning his brother. We don't show the actual dead dog. You just hear, "Arr, arr, arr," and then
I
a wrapped
for
up
some
sort
reason
of like-
remembered it. Yeah, I remember.
you know,
it
so
so
but you know, so that's kind of what I mean is I think it's like they either do this one or do this one. We talked about this before. Like we've had some other movies where we're like, yeah, I can't remember which one it was, but we're talking. I was just re-listening to an episode, but it's like it was a movie that would have been so much better if they just gone R-rated. They were
probably
pulling,
Megan.
yeah, but they were pulling punches. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I just feel like in this one is like okay,
The only way to do it is if you go
to do
PG and it becomes he isn't a fucking sociopath. He's just kind of a dick, and
Right.
then everything works out in the end, right?
Right.
Or like because you can't go with an R rating on this. It just wouldn't really work. No one would see it. It just wouldn't be for anyone.
Yeah, there should have been some actual blood. There should have been some actual danger. There should have been some actual fear. I think
Yeah.
like like I said,
When he
Elijah
throws
Wood.
his sister in the fucking ice, that was
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, no, exactly. That was
Like
good.
there
Like
is parts of this that are just so fucking crazy, but still they're really trying to
just
balance this too.
yeah, they should have just dialed it up. And Elijah
Yeah.
Wood does a really good job of at least like getting this element of
Yeah.
desperation and this element of like it's
Yeah.
really great of the not being believed and really good and like and just every time you think like Elijah Wood's going to do something, Macaulay Culkin is
Yeah.
there to foil it in a great way. Just
He
he's
is
got
like a
such
fucking Hannibal Lecter.
yeah,
Minus
he's
the
got a
eating of the
great. Like you said, the dead eyes.
yeah. He looks like a fucking old Dutch doll. Like
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, he's got the dead eyes and delivery of like a modern day TikToker. Like that's
He's AI.
he would be perfect for social media today. Um, but like, yeah,
Say to the full-time social media guy.
yeah, and as I mean, me as I'm like, trying to up my social media game, I'm taking notes. Is
Get
what I'm
some
saying.
deader eyes. You got to get the hair, buddy.
I know.
You just
Well,
like, got to get the
tell me
weird
now.
bowl cut right now. God,
Yeah.
Will.
Fucking mohawk,
And
man.
but
Two
like,
plungers.
there we go. But this is the kind of project where if they were to make it these days, it would be like a Netflix like miniseries, like that Adolescence
Yeah.
show. It would be more like that, and you would understand how to market it a little bit better. Back then, we didn't really have. They would not have made like a mini series that would have gone in this direction. And movie wise, they just didn't quite know where to go.
It's like they would. It's like them taking Millie Bobby Brown after season 1 of Stranger Things and putting her immediately into some sort of like
Enola Holmes.
right,
right.
But like,
Could you imagine
putting her in like this kind of movie?
Right.
I can see how it being done. I liked your like. It's another one is the Apple Plus movie, Defending Jacob.
Yeah, I've heard that's good.
You know,
Right.
like so. Yeah, Adolescence was a good reference as well. And honestly, yes, it was just a quick. If you haven't watched Adolescence, people fucking watch Adolescence. It's the best thing I've seen forever. It's incredible.
better than Andre?
No,
Better
come on, no,
Yeah.
dude,
Better
no.
than Andor.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. No, it's not better than Andor. Andor's the best thing. I think, dude. Fucking Andor's amazing. It's a documentary about today.
There we go.
It really is, though. And it reminds me of Star Trek.
Perfect. Now we're talking. I agree.
What if Star
Andor
Wars was in a
should've-
boarding school?
Oh man.
Wait,
Now
are they
we
doing
can
that
finally.
one? I don't know.
Now we can finally go over my 22-page thesis on why Andor should have been a Star Trek show. Page 1.
In a galaxy far, far away. Yeah, no, look, I would say like this movie was a good choice, guys. Like, I was real fun to me to go into. So it seems to be a much more, like I said, people in America know this movie well. This movie
I was
not
surprised you
known
hadn't seen it, but
outside.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, like, not even seen, but like not even heard of it.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of bonkers considering, like, oh, you never seen the Macaulay Culkin? He's a psychopath movie. So like, and this one as well. So it was not shot in Maine. It was shot in like Manchester by the Sea. It was shot in Massachusetts, and I will give credit to they tried to sort of like sell the idea. So, for example, that bit where they shot like the cliff, I think it was even in another state, but it was on the Great Lakes. So it was supposed to be, of course, on the Atlantic Ocean. So whenever they were going to shoot like down from the cliff, whenever they were going to shoot the lake, they got a bunch of boats and tugboats and speedboats to go and just run around and create waves. Yeah. So I'm like, okay,
It's
guys,
very convincing. Like they did a good job with that.
Yeah.
I agree. And I'm like, so I really appreciate that aspect of, all right, guys, well, no, we're setting the movie here. We've got to like just that little bit of like, no, we can't just have still water down there. That's the Atlantic. We've got to got to get some little white caps down there.
There's like some really, it's crazy. I know we keep bringing up like how jarring a lot of this stuff is. Like when she lets go of him and you see him actually falling and you hear his fucking scream, and then you see the shot of him like smashed into the rocks. The wave comes up and then he's gone.
Oh, great shot.
fucking Christ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great shot.
And
I
then
mean,
Andre swims up and just grabs his ass.
Yeah. So they can team up for the sequel.
and like, speaking of great shots, is like I was saying before, is some really excellent sort of just like usage of, I know, like I said, Massachusetts, but it's got that vibe of that, you got like the inlet and the buildings and, the kids running through town, and it's all this usage of the area that feels,
Yeah.
I would feel like we've been there. It felt like Maine. Like even that jarring aspect, like we were saying a little bit earlier, of going from, like I said, Zion, Utah, or whatever it was, and then suddenly just stunk,
Cold. Yeah.
cut to they're on like the ferry. You've got like, I think it was the Maine flag, like in the wind, and it cuts to all this snow and stuff like that. That I'm like, all right, yeah, no. As I always bring up, as the non-American, is things like that. Is like you guys have got such iconography for your country being so vast that, like, I think it did a really good job of going, all right, now we've gone from one side to the other. The throwaway line from the dad goes, oh, 11 states in 3 days.
Yeah, I was wondering, I'm like, why are they fucking driving? Like, why is he driving all the way there and then flying to Tokyo?
You can't drive to Tokyo, bastard.
It's too far.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just take two planes? It's 2 weeks he's gone for. Why are you driving?
He explains that in the movie. Spend some time with his boy. His mother
Okay,
just
yeah.
died. But
Yeah,
I
what
do-
happens when the kid's playing a fucking Game Boy? But I will say, when he's playing the Game Boy, at least he's got the Tetris cartridge in the Game Boy instead of just no cartridge.
Yes,
Right.
which
Looking
we
at,
have
looking at
had.
you rumble in the Bronx
Yeah.
and Surf Ninjas.
But I will tell you this much. As much as I like the movie, and like I didn't like the very end of the movie. So we have the hanging off the cliff, great Sophie's Choice moment. She's like, sorry, son, you murdered my other son. Fuck you, son. I'm keeping the blue-eyed kid. Drops her son dead. Hug of nephew and aunt. Cut to that same shot we opened with.
Yeah, it's his
Which is
silhouette,
just
right?
Elijah Wood just standing in Zion. Random voiceover going, I wonder if she got a do-over, if she'd make the same decision. You know what? I'm never going to ask credits. Nope.
Well, what if they kept making sequels to this where he has to go and defeat more good sons? Like, he's got other cousins. What if they're all shitty?
Wait, they
God.
made the TV show The Good Wife, didn't they? There's the Good Wife, there's The Good Place, there's the
He's got to
entire,
defeat all the other good family members.
it's got to be,
Good burger.
can he get into prison, into heaven? And that is the thing, is that very last bit of choice of the movie didn't work.
Yeah,
for
it didn't
me.
land, and
There should have been a little bit of like just talking to the dad and him being like, you were right the whole time.
But also him trying to imbue like the spirit of his mother into his aunt. That also felt
Weird.
a little wishy-washy. Like,
I mean, I do love, like, Will, you thank you for what you did on the text thread today, because I mean, I was watching the
Oh
movie
my God.
and I
Yeah.
immediately laughed,
Dude.
because it's like like I said, so Elijah Wood's mom dies at the beginning, I think of cancer, and like Elijah Wood is like, Mom, I won't let you die. You can't die. I won't let you. Cuts to, she's dead. Like,
Immediate
cuts to,
funeral.
dead. And like Will, he found like it's a thing from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, there's a It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia like title,
The title
maker
cut, yeah.
that gives you the music as well.
with the
so-
music, it's great.
It's
Yeah,
just, it's exactly how I saw it, because it was actually so jarring. It was funny.
It's
Yeah.
like we're not gonna set you on fire, and then she cuts to like Sweet gets set on fire.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
a
like
perfect comedy cut, and I'm
I
sure
think it
that's
was
not
more
how
of a metaphor, like he's not gonna forget her, but
But
it
just
was,
Elijah Wood's
infinitely
baby
more funny.
blues, and it's just like cut to, no, she died, bro.
Yeah,
You crushed
I
it.
was in tears. It was so funny.
well, there's also the bit like later in the film after Macaulay Culkin ice skates his sister into the ice, and they fish her out, and then she's in the hospital, so you don't see her ever again. Like, she's not dead, but she's just in the hospital, and then Macaulay Culkin like sneaks into the hospital in the middle of the night, and the mother is there. She's like, "The fuck are you? Like, what are you doing here?"
Like he's there with like the pillow about to put over her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Like, how did he get to the hospital by him? It's
Bro,
like,
did you not see the rest of the movie? Go play in the field of
I
murder.
suppose.
It
It was late at night, like,
it's just
and that's when she was like starting to suspect, like, maybe he isn't, maybe he's not so good.
It would have been great. The movie was like one step away at that point from him like literally loading a shotgun and the mom being like, "Huh, I wonder if he's
It's just for fun.
wonder if he's
Ma."
evil." Like
Yeah.
literally shooting the neighborhood
Because
animals.
she goes into the barn and
Hmm.
finds, like, sees the bolt gun, and she's just like, my boy.
Oh,
She's like,
boys
And then
"Kid."
she
boys.
stumbles upon the rubber duck, which like releases all of this, like, it was you, I was looking for this, and he's like, well, it was my toy first, and then this whole chase sequence over a rubber duck is like, that was the heirloom, and your kid died in the bathtub. Like, why would you want to hold on to that to remember that moment?
True.
Yeah, and I
mean, I thought
for-
it was hilarious, but come on, like,
Also true.
yeah, I mean, I
the
couldn't
only
get
thing that could
past.
have made this movie better opens with the death of
Yes,
Unfortunately, it was the death of a
only.
mother. It's like it's just the wrong
It's not the
wheelhouse for you.
same.
It's not the same. Yeah, it doesn't
No,
work.
I mean-
doesn't work.
I was kind of shocked in this movie by, like, for parents who had just lost a child, how oblivious they were to, like, their other two kids. You would think it would be the opposite, where like they're helicopter parents and they're just like, none of you are leaving my sight, but instead they're just like,
Bye.
worst comes to worst, I mean, we just had a child delivered to our house. You know, we're lousy with
I mean,
kids.
it's never established how old. Oh my God, what was the Joshua?
Josh.
The boys, the son who passed away.
Oh, is it Richard? Richard.
Is that, yeah.
Andre.
But it's never established. Yeah, it's never established how. Well, he never would have drowned, dude. He's a fucking seal. Fucking idiot.
Wait a minute, he's still alive.
But it's never established like how old, like what the age differences between him and Henry's character are.
Yeah.
Like, so Henry was obviously old enough and cognizant enough to drown him. It could have been like a year, maybe.
Yeah.
So how old do we think? Because you see the kid's room, he's got like a large enough, like a toddler-sized bed. I'm like, that's some fucked up shit. It's not like he was a baby and he like made it look like an accident.
Yeah, I mean, it is unclear. And then kind of like, going back to kind of what you're saying about the parents and should have been helicopter parents. I mean, yeah, look, we see them. There is like I said, there's Suicide Cliff. There is rabid dogs. What do? They play on the edge of a fucking well, and then they let the kids go off unsupervised ice skating on a place where there is thin ice. I mean, seriously, I think the actual story
You
of this.
think the parents want these kids
They,
to
they are trying to murder all of their children. I
Holy
think
shit.
that's the actual
Their goal was to
undercurrent.
pit Henry and
Yeah, I mean that's what was
Yes.
missing is the M. Night Shyamalan style last minute of the movie. Instead of it just being him
Fuck.
standing in Utah, is the children.
Holy
parents
shit.
going, damn it, we were so close to murdering all the children. We'll try again next time
fuck.
in the good place with
Damn.
Andre. Yeah, no, see,
It's an interesting
that's a
take
dope
on
fucking movie.
yeah, that's interesting.
I buy that theory.
I'd buy that for $1. So, guys, as we know, though, this podcast is not about the best movie. It is about the movie that best sort of like represents a state. Now, last time, we did give it to the Iron Giant, and I will say the Iron Giant really did it very well. We're like, granted it's animated, so it gets that sort of like ability, but I will say that the things that the Iron Giant presented, we talked about the small town, we talked about it being on the water, we talked about the weather and all these things. Honestly, both of these movies got that. Now, like people have pointed out that if you're watching Andre, you can see the Rocky Mountains in the background, and like you wouldn't see that in Maine. And like, with the good son, using Massachusetts, but it does. They both do a pretty good job.
But I mean, and for me, like, even as I was watching this, Andre just having that true story juice behind it gave it so much more weight than that's really it. Like for me,
That's going to be hard to I was kind of leaning in that direction too. where I'm
nothing good. Nothing. What else has come out of Maine? What do they got?
like, lobster. Both these movies had tons of lobster.
The
so-
Lobster was filmed there? I don't think so.
Is it every Stephen King movie ever made? Is it?
Which we will
Unclear.
make this promise: we will never cover any of those movies on this.
Only if he directs them.
Now I'm on
Honestly-
board.
Honestly, I hate to say it, but I agree with both of you. It's
I'm
a
not proud of it, but I think
I'm
in
not
the truest
I'm not
sense.
proud of it either,
Yeah.
but it's a legendary Maine story. It's a story that people of
Yeah.
Maine know.
If people ask, I'm still going to say the Iron Giant one. But
Right. Yeah,
But,
nobody's
yeah.
happy about this decision.
But yeah, I mean, in this particular case, yes, it's a story that lasted a quarter of a decade. It's a story that has archival footage. It's a story that has a very famous book for people in that area. And as Ryan pointed out, there's even a statue. We have to give it to Andre. Oh, guys, I feel so dirty right now. Feel like I need to be drowned in the bathtub by Macaulay Culkin for committing a hate crime against movies. But I
That is a service he provides these days. So
it's an add-on to Cameo.
yeah, he'll do it. You know,
dude, I wonder if you can get him to do some like Deadeye cameo. That would be absolutely amazing. But I don't think there's any argument, right, from either of you. It's like
Yeah.
it's.
I mean,
it is-
the Good Son is for me easily the better of the two films, but I
Big
think
time.
Andre is is more Maine feeling.
it's
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm going to say these words out loud, ladies and gentlemen, but yes, you heard it here first. The new movie to represent the state of Maine for all time, or at least until we come back next season, is the 1994 movie Andre, available for free in 360p on YouTube. We would recommend it for literally nobody. Maybe if you have to put your children in timeout or you want to teach them a lesson, maybe show them this movie about a sea lion playing a seal.
It's a movie you'd watch in school and they would like wheel in the VCR TV tray thing.
Mhm.
Like, I'm watching fucking Andre today. All right. whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the teachers committed suicide. We're going to watch a movie. Don't think about it. But yeah, there you go. This is the movie that defines Maine right here, at least until we come back around. Now, guys, like we've said, usually at this point we will get into the also rans. I mean, it's every Stephen King movie ever made. We have been dancing around it for fun, in a way, but there are so many. It too. It's like, just Cujo, the Pet Cemetery. I mean, like, honestly, get into it. Like, it's like every single one of them ever made.
And none of those were also rans. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were torn between, I think, Lake Placid and Casper.
Honestly,
those will be our picks next time. Stephen King, wait till season 4.
But
Charlotte's Web.
I do, and there's Shutter Island as well. I do want to do. Is it Lake Placid? Right? Is that the one? I do want to do that. I am actually like I've never seen it. I heard it's like great but shit at the same time, and I think
it's
like
Oliver Platt-tastic. Let me tell you.
I feel like I'd seen that in the theater because again, it was around the time like when Anaconda was coming out. They were doing these big like monstery horror films, Congo, Anaconda, shit like that.
Yeah,
but I don't remember it at all. So, but I'm sure they made like 10 of them.
Yeah, I just rewatched it last year, I think, just because it was on. So it's fresh in my mind.
But no, there's plenty. I mean, we've got Five Nights in Maine, Shutter Island, Pet Cemetery, Cider House Rules. I know we circled that one like momentarily. The Mist. That could be quite an entertaining watch, actually. Message in a Bottle, Casper. So Maine's got like, you got pretty good movies. I mean, like, well, when I say pretty good, I mean it's not Andre good, but pretty.
They're pretty good, son.
Oh, give yourself a pat on the back. You were already where. That was a good one. Though, where are we going next week? Next week, we're sticking in the whole New England kind of vibe, New England area. We're actually heading to the state of New Hampshire. Help me out, boys. What was our champion for New Hampshire? Jumanji, that's right. Jumanji came out on top.
Yeah, we did What About Bob?
Which is a great movie.
In the Mouth of Madness.
Which is the best movie. So you want to do In the Mouth of Madness again to maybe see if we can take the championship?
I think we should do it again and again. Yeah.
Honestly, I mean,
see shit smeared on these walls? Fuck yeah.
I'm not going to lie, guys. I still think about that movie a lot. I reference it a lot. And in fact, it was on Framed. We like to play Framed, which is that sort of like Wordle, but movie frame. I remember all of us just getting that one. And
it was like the following week or something.
Yeah, it was great. It's like, oh, I know exactly what that
the
movie
exterior of the hospital.
Exactly. The opening shot. I was like, I got this movie. So we've got two interesting movies, actually, for New Hampshire. One is that Ryan and I saw in theaters back when it came out, like 2002. Will had never really heard of it, except through rumor. And another movie that none of us have heard of, that is like Oscar nominated, but is also notable for having the movie debut of Glenn Close, which has intrigued us. So, Will, why don't you tell us about that movie first?
So that is The World According to Garp. Robin Williams, John Lithgow, Glenn Close, Andre the Seal, just a stacked cast.
Andre 3000.
Yeah, The World According to Garp. I've never heard of this movie. I've never heard of it.
I just want to say, I do like the idea that maybe Andre 3000 got his name from seeing
For how many times he watched on
Andre 1994.
Hold
I just add some numbers.
I got this. I know exactly what I'm going to be an outcast. Yeah, The World According to Garp. I'm on our non-sponsor sponsor, Just Watch. Like we always recommend, it's a great place to go and check out movies. One day they will sponsor us. The World According to Garp is on Canopy, which starts with a K. Never heard of it, but apparently it is available for free everywhere else you can rent it, but you never know. Maybe someone's uploaded it in 240p on YouTube. We will check that one out. But the other one was a movie I remember wanting to see. I remember it being kind of edgy. It's technically set in the American Psycho universe. And it starred a lot of cool people at the time. Ryan, tell us about this movie.
We picked Roger Avery's 2002 movie, The Rules of Attraction, starring a bunch of people. James Van Der Beek, Shannon Sossamon, who we can all agree we had the biggest crush on.
Yeah.
And Jay Baruchel is in this, Kate Bosworth, Jessica Biel, Kit Pardue, Clifton Collins Jr., Faye Dunaway, Swoozie Kurtz, Eric Stoltz. This movie has everybody. And Fred Savage, who
has a moment.
We don't need to talk about it.
So yeah, I remember this movie. It's a bit out there. It's a bit weird. It's a bit edgy in the way that 2002 liked.
It's a movie your cool friend had on DVD.
Yeah, you did. It was very much. I remember people talking about it. I have not seen it since 2002. I saw it in the theaters once, but I'm actually up for watching it again. As I lit that one up, it's also on Canopy for free. Apparently, it's also on Plex. But honestly, if you're listening to this podcast, it's on Prime free with ads right now, but by the time the podcast comes out, this will have changed. So I would recommend, do yourself a favor, go to Just Watch, check it out, because I'm sure it's
go to your local video store and rent that shit, baby.
Or go to your local library as well. Get yourself a library card, head to your local library. You can rent
if you want to be a fucking nerd.
I think you had mentioned Hoopla, which I think that's the library.
That's the library card one.
Yeah,
I believe as well.
If you got a library card, you're set.
So, so check it out. The World According to Garp. The Rules of Attraction are going up against Jumanji next week. Thank you very much, guys, for this week. I mean, well, thanks for one of the movies. The other one was, well, I'll get to...
You can argue that one movie made the other movie feel even better.
Yeah, I will. You're not wrong, and I definitely watched them in the right order, because if I'd finished with Andre, I would have finished myself.
In a bathtub.
on that note, you can always find more from us if you want to. If you're on YouTube right now, just drop us a subscribe, drop us a comment, give us a recommendation about the movie you want for your particular state. You can also find us on our Facebook page, The United States of a Movie. You can find me as That Englishman in Texas, or Ollie Petchker on Facebook, where often I'm talking about things Texas, except on Mondays when I often talk about movies, much like I was talking about New York Ninja. You can find Will as Entitled Millennial on TikTok. I'm liking, by the way, Will, I have been noticing on your social media the resurrection of On the Shelf. I appreciate this.
Finally brought it back.
Yeah, I love it. Like, Will has...
Did you start with New York Ninja?
I should have.
No, Will has an absolutely banging movie collection, and he's got phenomenal movie knowledge. And if you want to really dig in and find a movie you've never heard of that you might be finding interesting, check him out.
Nolly, you're going to start plugging your other social media handle, that Texas Ninja, that English Ninja in Texas or something.
If anybody wants to fund that movie, damn right I will be. You can also find Ryan as Rhino Digital. He's got himself a store. Why don't we post a link to that store on our Facebook page as well, where you can find a lot of his great designs. We'll start featuring them. I post them every now and again on our Facebook page.
Do you want a shirt that says, I went to Delta City and all I got was my dick blown off? Sure.
Damn right I do.
Yes, you do.
And you definitely want the It's Wraithen time. And also my favorite, Hung Like a Horse, the unofficial podcast of James Hong.
We got to get that to James Hong.
Yeah.
We have to.
Did we send that to Carrie Byron? Did we send her one?
Yes.
We better. If we didn't, we're sending her one.
I think so.
Well, yeah. So, all right. So, guys, join us next time. When we head to New Hampshire, these movies, it's going to be an interesting watch this week. I can't wait for it. But as always, from Ryan, from Will, and from me, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the United States of a Movie podcast. We'll see you next time.